Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos, and today I have for you my King of Games deck for the month of July, which surprisingly it was Triamids. Surprising to me because I wasn't trying to climb with this deck. I've been simply playing this deck with a new character so I can farm some skills. So as you can see, I was playing it skillless because I was trying to figure out what deck was not skill reliant, and I just went for Triamids. They ended up working a lot better than I thought, even without a skill. I know people use balance, ties that bind, things like that, but yeah, the deck is super strong. The more I use it, the more comfortable I get with the plays. At the beginning it's a little bit overwhelming looking at all the effects and all the quick plays you can make, but once you get comfortable with it, it's actually pretty simple. You can plan 2-3 moves ahead and try to stay ahead of your opponent that way. I think the build is pretty standard. 3 Triamid Master, 3 of each field spell. We got Cruiser, King Golem, and Fortress. We also have 3 Triamid Hunter. Hunter is really good because he gives you an additional normal summon for a rock type monster. Yeah, a rock type monster, so all your Triamid monsters during your turn, which is really good. As long as there's a field spell on the field, it doesn't even have to be yours. Your opponent can have a field spell face up and you'll still get the effect. And then 2 Triamid Dancer. I use Dancer kind of as the focus on another deck. I had the earlier Triamid deck, but that was using Concentrating Current. That was a cheesy OTK. This is the real archetype here. Excuse me. But yeah, it was just we were streaming last night. We got the Legend 2. I was playing this morning just casually as I was watching TV, and we got the King of Games. I don't know how much more I can explain as far as Triamids. I mean, the Cruiser, every time you normal summon a Triamid monster, you gain 500 life, draw 1 card, and discard 1. When it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to search any Triamid monster, which is really good. King Golem, 9 times out of 10 is the card you want to end on with your opponent's turn. During your opponent's turn, sorry. It makes your monsters gain 500 attack, and then they become Armades. Basically, if your opponent attacks, they can't activate cards. Same thing when you attack. But actually lied. This is not 9 times out of 10. It's not what you want to end up with. Fortress is what I ended up winning a lot of my games with. Normally, if there's no back row, if there's nothing threatening, you want to end on a King Golem so that you can try to attack for game and they can't activate their Kribos or anything like that. But Triamid Fortress allowed me to play against things such as Treacherous Trap Hole, which is on everyone's deck. I mean, it's in my deck too, and it's a huge counter to this deck because you want to control multiple monsters in the field so you can float more than 1 field spell during your opponent's turn. So if they treacherous on your turn and you don't have Fortress, you're pretty much done. So if there's nothing threatening attacking me like an Ancient Gear Reactor or a Red Eye Slash, I'll end on a Fortress. That way I'm protected during my turn from things such as Treacherous Trap Hole. That was the most important adjustment I think I made after getting more used to the deck. It also gives your Triamid monsters 500 attack, 500 defense, and Dancer works with that. When it sends from the field to the grave, you get to add one of your Triamid monsters from the grave. Then I forgot to say King Golem lets you special summon from your hand when it's sent from the field to the grave. Other than that, 2 Pulse, 1 Treacherous. I know a lot of people only run 1 Dancer, but because I'm not running balance, I really wanted to increase the number of monsters I run. So I've seen some people run 3 Pulse, no Treacherous, or 3 Pulse and 1 Treacherous. I've seen some people run 2 Treacherous, but I don't think it's necessary, honestly. It's nice to see it when you do, but the deck can function without it. So because I wasn't actively climbing with this deck, I only have 2 replays, but this is kind of what I faced. This was after I ranked up to Legend 3. I would lose 1, win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, and then I finally went on the 5-game win streak. So the streak was Sub-Terrors, a lot of them going around. This weird deck that they pretty much scooped at the beginning. Like they set a monster and then they scooped. I don't know. Weird cheesy deck, so that was a free win. And then another Sub-Terrors. I believe this is, I have this replay. Then we went up against Blue Eyes. I didn't save this one because I was too excited. I was like, wait, this is my 4th win. This is the next one, King of Games. So I didn't save this replay. But they said, I think they said a monster, set a back row. I went double master and pretty much attacked for game with King Golem. And then, as if because of destiny, the King of Games rank matchup was Triamids. It was a mirror match. This guy's running balance, but there's a key moment. I misplay, by the way, in this because I was nervous, but there's a key moment that let me win this game. But I do have a replay, so let's go ahead and show you those two real quick. This was I think the 3rd game. It was one of the Sub-Terror ones. And it shows why it's so important to end on Fortress. Alright, so we're going first. I'm gonna go Cruiser, Hunter, Master, pretty standard. You're trying to draw into your Pulse or your Treacherous. I think I end up getting Treacherous or something like that. No, never mind. I don't get anything. I'm basically just deck thinning. He goes for the Mass Tribute here. He's going to Tribute set. And then on the end phase, you know, a lot of times I would end on King Golem because I wanted the buff. I wanted to be able to attack without having to worry about my opponent's cards. But then I made the adjustment to end on Fortress instead. Also, because I'm gonna search with Cruiser and I'm sending Golem from the field to the grave, I get to special summon the card I just searched. He goes for Needle Sealing. I cannot be destroyed by card effects. We're gonna send Hunter to destroy the back row. He uses the enemy controller, but my monsters were summoned the previous turn, so I can just switch him back into attack mode. Not only that, I still had my normal summon. I got Hunter back because of Fortress, and I had a Pulse if that wasn't enough. So it's a pretty ideal game there. But the Needle Sealing, I was like, okay, I have to save this replay. So I make a huge misplay that ends up not costing me. But I really thought, okay, I choked this. I'm not getting the King of Games because of this stupid misplay. There you go. Winning, you'll gain a rank. So balance, I'm going first. I don't know what I'm playing. Well, actually, once I saw balance, I figured it was going to be the mirror match. So I'm just hoping for the best here. I set double Pulse. He goes for Cruiser, normal summons a Master, so pretty much mirrors my my play. I also get the 500 life and I get to draw. But this was the mistake right here. Okay, first of all, this was amazing. That he threw that Canadian away pretty much gave me the win because this right here killed both the Treacherous in his deck. And that's very important. So I'm gonna activate my effect. This is where I messed up. In my mind, I was like, okay, I have to end in Fortress so that he can kill me with, you know, a Pulse. But my forehead was not thinking that this protects all Triamid monsters on the field. So I can't destroy his Master anymore with my Pulse. So now that I've done that and I messed up, I just hold my Pulse. He's gonna go for the back row, destroy one of them. I think I flip it over so that it, just because I didn't really activate my effect there. He's gonna search Dancer. I don't know if he searched Dancer because I did the same thing and he's thinking, okay, it's the mirror match. We're both gonna need Dancer to get bigger than our opponent's monsters. But he goes for the trade and that's pretty clutch. Pretty clutch for me, that is. We're gonna activate Dancer, send Master back into the deck just to gain some attack. He goes for Cruiser, goes for Hunter. I'm gonna activate my my Pulse right here because I don't want him to get any normal summons. Once I destroy this, I'm in a pretty good shape. And I also thought this will make him feel safe because of my Fortress. But I'm going to chain my Dancer so that Fortress is not on the field when Pulse resolves. and we destroy the hunter. Fortress is also gonna let me get master back, so I'm feeling pretty safe here. We're gonna go cruiser for cruiser, search hunter, and the whole time I'm not worried about this card, because if it's a pulse, all I have to do is chain my pulse to his pulse. My pulse resolves first, destroys his, and then my monsters are not threatened anymore. So as soon as I felt that delay on my summons, I knew I pretty much had the win, even though he's gaining life right here. But luckily for me, I pick up the King Golem. I also have a Dancer to boost my attack. It was a Treacherous actually. So the Treacherous was already dead. Dancer was gonna boost the attack of all my monsters, and I had a King Golem, so I didn't have to worry about anything in the back, anything in his hand, and yeah, we got the King of Games. So it was very surprising. It feels good that I did it with a different deck, because last season I used Sub Terrors for you know, like the world qualifiers and for King of Games, and then in the special duels I used Trap Terrors again. So it was nice to get King of Games with something I hadn't done it with. And Triamids are really strong, man. It's not a very expensive deck, and definitely if you have it, I recommend you play it. Get used to it, because it's a lot stronger than it seems at the beginning. Once you start playing it, then you realize how good it is. This is basically Red Eye's worst matchup. I had a bunch of Red Eyes players just flat out scoop when they saw that I was playing Triamids, because King Golem just kills the whole deck. Red Eyes can't equip anything, even if they have things such as Power of the Guardians. Power of the Guardians doesn't get a counter if you have a King Golem and they're attacking into one of your monsters. Then you use Treacherous or Pulse when they attack or when you attack, and it's over. They don't get anything, so it's a really good matchup against one of the strongest decks. But it does have its weakness, Cosmic Cyclone. Almost every time my opponent had a Cosmic Cyclone, I lost with this deck, unless they were 4 hits and they were targeting my field spell during their turn, because then I can just float it. But if they do it during your turn, before you you know, during your end phase when you're trying to get set up, it's pretty devastating. And Ancient Gears, although not impossible, it's also a pretty bad matchup, because again, they have cards that just destroy your field spells and your back row. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. Join my Discord if you haven't, the link will be down in the description. Along with my PayPal link if you guys want to support my channel, support my content. I really appreciate it. And until next time.